Hey everyone, Mr. Wooten here. This is question number 1 from the Unit 1 study guide that just dealt with equations and inequalities. And what we're going to be doing in this problem is just practicing solving an equation for a particular variable. Just a quick recap. Most of you have been pretty good at this year, but we're just going to look at a couple different problems to make sure we know a lot of these sort of ins and outs of solving for particular variables, different steps. So in this first problem, so solve for a, and the equation is -8 equals -a minus 12 divided by 4. So what we have to do is we've got to get the a by itself. We are solving for the letter a. That means we need to remove everything that's on the same side of the equation except for the a. So what we have to think about is what's happening to this letter a and what is the order in which we take care of these things. If you notice, we have a -a instead of a positive a, so we'll have to take care of that. Then minus 12. And then after we subtract the 12, we divide by 4. And the way I know that I do this dividing by 4 after the minus 12 is because the minus 12 is on top of this, what appears to be a fractional form of this expression. So we've got to get rid of this divided by 4, and the way we cancel out dividing by 4, the inverse operation there would be multiplying by 4. Okay, so if I multiply both sides of this equation by 4, then what we see, and actually let me back up one second. We'll make this a little clearer to see the different steps we got going on here. I want to pick a different color here. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to multiply by 4 here and here. And if I multiply both of these by 4, the multiplying and dividing by 4 cancel. It leaves me with -a minus 12. And over here, 4 times -8 is -32. Okay, so you notice we're already getting closer to solving for a. So then we need to get rid of either the negative or the minus 12. What we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the minus 12. Anytime you have a letter or a number in a letter, in other words, a variable with a coefficient, even if this was -5a or 23a, doesn't matter. If there's an adding or subtracting going on at the end, we want to get rid of that first. Okay, so subtracting 12, we want to turn around and add 12 to that. And if we add 12 to both sides, again, we do it to both sides to keep the equation balanced. The subtracting 12 and the addition of 12 cancel each other out, so we're left with -a equals -32 plus 12. And again, don't let this confuse you. That's not going to be -44. Remember, if you're already negative and you're adding, you're working your way back up to 0. So imagine you're at 0 on a number line, and then way down here we are at -32. If we add 12, that's going this way. And that's going to put us at some value here, and this isn't drawn to scale, I'm just kind of showing you what's going on here. So if we were at -32 and we add 12, that negative number is actually getting smaller. So you can almost think about that as if we are subtracting 12, like 32 minus 12. And if you think about it that way, you may be able to realize it a little bit easier. That would be -20. Okay, so we get -20 equals -a. And then if I realize, wait a minute, this is a -a, that's almost like a -1. Anytime we don't have a value or a coefficient, a number in front of the letter, just remember that we always talk about that there is technically a number there. It's just hidden. We don't write 1a just because a is the same thing. We only have one of them. So if we have -1 in front, we could think about this as dividing both sides by -1, and that'll get rid of the negative. Or you could have thought about it as just saying, well, if -a is -20, then positive a is the opposite of -20, which is +20. And we get the same thing if we divide by -1. Okay? So there is the answer to our first problem. Solving for a, we get 20. So if you got questions, leave a comment below on the video, or send me an email, or just ask me about it in class. Otherwise, go on to the next problem that you need help with.